By day, it's a portrait of excellence in higher education, the University of California at Berkeley. But when it gets dark, some Berkeley residents say their neighborhoods come under siege by out-of-control fraternities. Some residents here in Berkeley say they can't take it anymore, and they filed a class action lawsuit against all 35 fraternities here at one of the nation's top universities.
Good morning from the 9 o'clock news. Berkeley has witnessed violence that has seemed to take over frat life and the party scene overall.
We've gone on campus to interview some UC Berkeley students themselves. Take it away, Chris.
All right, thanks, Richie. I'm here with Alec and Audie on campus at the University of California, Berkeley. Now tell me, Audie, what do you feel about the escalating violence that's been occurring here at the Greek system?
Well, with the Greek system, some of the violence is unavoidable, I think. You're going to have people at parties who get drunk and they're going to do stupid things. You can't really control it, I feel like. After some certain point, you got to step back.
What do you think about that, Alec?
I get what Audie's saying, I really do, but at the same time, there's a problem that we have to address. And, a couple of my friends and we went to a party last weekend, and one of my friends got ambushed by a bunch of guys who just drank way too much alcohol, and he sustained some minor injuries, and he actually had to go to the hospital. The whole event just could have been avoided, and it is kind of sad, actually.
And is there any way you think we can stop or lessen this violence from occurring here?
Well, I think the university has to start considering stepping in, in the form of possibly, putting some of these fraternities on probation, or even contemplating some sort of academic punishment. But until they do that, this problem's going to continue for a while.
Yeah, along the same vein, I feel like for the people who are involved in these kind of fights, you could maybe block their registration because, at the end of the day, Berkeley kids care a lot about academics, and that's what they're going to respond to,
All right, thanks, guys. Well, there you have it. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Chris. We have here a quote from UC Berkeley Professor Zook from the Peace and Conflict Studies Department, who states, "There have to be two conditions that need to be met for any conflict resolution. And those are, 1, the participants need to feel they are stakeholders in the process, and 2, there needs to be an incentive for the participants to want to be stakeholders."
In other words, you can't do the work for them, and they need to have a reason to want the work to succeed. Almost all efforts to do these sorts of things fail because they can't meet one or both of these conditions.
Chris Wilson, our on-site reporter, also managed to secure a one-on-one interview with a UC Berkeley frat member himself. Chris?
Alright, so some may say that the influx of confrontation here on campus is becoming a real issue. How often would you say that these conflicts occur?
I guess it happens sometimes, but you gotta define what confrontation is. Is it just like throwing a punch out there, or is it kicking some guy on the ground? It's bound to happen when everybody's together, and sure, sometimes it can escalate, but it's honestly not a problem.
So who are the usual people involved in these conflicts?
It's most often some rando kid who, has had a little bit too much to drink and is trying to get crazy. Honestly, we try to keep all confrontation to a minimum, and if we see anybody starting to get a little anxious, we try to kick them out as fast as possible. But, people are a little too drunk, and they get mad and retaliate, and that's when we have to use force or deal with it properly.
What do you mean by dealing with it properly?
Well, it's ultimately a problem of liability. If you got somebody in there, they can potentially endanger the patrons of the party, and they can potentially damage our property. So honestly, we're just trying to look for any way that we can escort them, away from the premises.
Now, is alcohol a usual main contributing factor?
Well, that liquid confidence, people definitely get a lot bolder while under the influence.
Well, with your knowledge of the system, do you think these conflicts are at all avoidable?
It's a party, man. Everybody's trying to have a good time, and we're trying to keep it as peaceful as possible so that they can do that. But at the end of the day, guys are going to be guys, and, every once in a while something like that happens.
Interesting. Alright, well, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
One solution to this kind of male violence exhibited by Berkeley students would be to implement a necessary training program on how to best create a culture of peace at Berkeley.
This preemptive approach will help deter violence in the new generations of frat culture. Another post-conflict approach would be having restorative justice meetings between both stakeholders in the conflicts. The University of California, Berkeley is a top public university in the world, and as such, they should lead by example.
As a university, they should be represented by students that try to maintain relationships that are not controlled by fighting. Well, it seems like it's time to bring the peace back to Berkeley.
Yeah, it sure is. I'm Rishi Kaul.
And I'm Ariana Vasquez.
This has been your 9 o'clock news. Thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.